Hello, Sharpies. We are Bizak in his house. I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens, and welcome to another episode of Steel, Sharp and
Sharpie
Steel.
Steel.
Now in 4K, I guess. I don't know what's really happening.
Yeah, we have two new formats. So if you're watching on YouTube and you're watching on your phone, you'll see that we have a vertical orientation now. Thanks to StreamYard, they're doing some stuff. And so we have some advantages. And so we're trying to take advantage of the multiple formats so that we can kind of get some things happening. So thank you so much for joining us. And it just occurred to me that it has been a little bit of a while since we've done an After Dark episode. And so we are in December. I promise that we will do an After Dark before the end of the year. And Mike Bartlett, you weren't first, bro.
He wasn't?
Anthony had you by 2 hours. You had to understand. So you, as soon as you get the notification, if you don't have your itchy little finger on the comment, Anthony's gonna beat you because Anthony's notification bell be on some spidey sense. So
right.
you got to really, he's like, he probably keeps a tab open on Thursdays for whatever you do. Probably says it's coming, and then he just be on it right away. So.
Anthony's like, what you're not gonna do is take my number one spot.
Said you gotta get up early in the morning.
Apparently, we have two streams going on YouTube right now.
We do. We have a vertical stream and we have the horizontal stream. So
pick your poison.
Pick your poison is what you want to do. We can start by talking about Thanksgiving. Joy, how was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was great. I spent some time with my best friend Erica and her family in St. Louis. We stayed at her mom's house, and it's always an adventure, you know, family intrigue, meeting friends. One of the best things though that happened, and it's happened last year, but we revisited it again this year, is one of Erica's cousins, like longtime girlfriend, is white.
Oh, okay.
And she brought the mac and cheese to Thanksgiving. And it was good.
Hey!
Everybody's like, oh. So, you know, and like, she was like, thanks. And she's like, honestly, I just Googled black people's mac and cheese and I made that. Shout out to Ashley, because it was hidden. It was hidden like it was empty. Like everybody got some.
You know, see, here's the thing. Thanks to the Google, you don't have to guess. Right. Everybody and their mama, and it's some people on Facebook. There's this one sister who, and she always says meow when she's baking something, and her recipes look like they are slamming all the time. So if you are a person who is confused about a recipe for mac and cheese, especially if you are going to be intermingling with melanated folks, please just Google, and like Sister Girl did, black people mac and cheese. Yep. And listen, it's boiling noodles, making a bechamel, and adding cheese and sprinkling the cheese on top. It's not brain surgery, but what it is not is the Kraft Blue Box.
It's not the Kraft Blue Box.
It is not the Kraft Blue Box.
It is not the Velveeta block with condensed milk on it. Although I will say I have made that before. I'm not gonna be in here and act all new like I didn't rock that for a while. But yeah, like you said, the bechamel sauce, starting from there. If I'm gonna make it for other people, I'm gonna do it the right way. But if I just want some mac and cheese at home, please believe.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, Velveeta shells and cheese smacks. I'm not gonna lie. That's fine if that's what you're looking for.
But don't try to pass that off.
Mac and cheese, that's its own thing.
And I want to know where the breadcrumb thing comes from, because I feel like somebody saw a baked mac and cheese and didn't know what they were looking at. It was like, that must be breadcrumbs on there because it has a crunch, and got that real wrong. And they've been doing it ever since. Similar to how I saw this woman trying to make collard greens, and she tried to do it in a crock pot, and she took a whole chopped up turkey breast and just dumped it in there. And that was already cooked. And then she had just leaves of greens and some chicken broth, I guess. And then she just put turkey meat because she was trying to replicate what she must have seen on a plate, a finished product. and
Ah.
said, this must be what goes in it. When I tell you, it looked like turkey and collard green on a casserole souffle. Something. It was a mess.
So I have gone to using my Instant Pot to make my collard greens. But before I put the greens in, I make my own bone broth pot.
Okay, cool.
And so I will take a piece of smoked turkey, because I have enough people in my family that don't really rock with the pork, that it just doesn't make any sense to try it. So, but I do put a smoked turkey, usually a wing piece. Sometimes it's because that's what you can get. Well, okay, Michael Bartlett, come to the party. So I do a 2-hour bone broth in the Instant Pot, and that supercharges the pot liquor. Then I take out all the bones and stuff, and after I've washed and chopped my greens, I can smoosh the greens into the pot liquor, and because it's already hot, it only takes a few minutes to come to pressure, and in 15 minutes I have al dente collards, and that's the way I like my greens. Now, this year I'm going to try to make a side pot of gumbo greens, because I've been seeing it on the internet, and I'm intrigued by the additional flavors that the gumbo roux and all of the spices and everything else.
Gumbo greens is good. I did that.
Oh, you did? So they are good.
It was good. I had like bagged collard greens that I was gonna do something with. Like when you're single and you live by yourself, you ain't trying to do all that. So since I had seen all the things, I was like, I have gumbo stock in the freezer.
Right.
So I just defrosted that, and because normally I reconstitute it, add a little extra chicken broth, because that's the bottom of the pot. Like once all the gone, it's the best part. But it's had enough seasoning and richness and umami and all that kind of stuff that when I just added collard greens into it, and then I built it up with more chicken and sausage. It was so good, and it's a meal in a bowl. You know,
right? Exactly, and lower in carbs because you're not dealing with rice. You've got the
collard greens as a carrier.
Collard greens as your kind of additional,
but
whatever.
We are not going to turn this into a food show. Thanksgiving was great.
Okay,
how was yours?
So it was a long Thanksgiving. I cooked a turkey for my undergrads at USC. And then our chapter for the last couple of years has been going to the Veterans Administration in Los Angeles to serve Thanksgiving to the veterans that stay there. They have a beautiful facility that they're rehabbing building by building. And so they have these really nice apartments for veterans. And so we've been going there for the last 2 years. And I went and I sang America the Beautiful, and then we served the veterans. And so we had turkey and fried chicken and ham and dressing and collards and mac and cheese. And I feel like, sweet potatoes.
Nice.
And next year we're going to have some sort of bread. We didn't have any bread this year, which we were kind of thinking, we probably should have had some bread. But it was very nice. And then after that, I went to the house and had dinner with the family. And so I made a leg of lamb that I marinated overnight. And we had a fried turkey and a spatchcock turkey, and I made my garlic green beans. I made my homemade.
Being admonished by Marie J. I'm gonna call you Marie at this point, since she's like, don't do that.
Listen,
I love it. Please don't do that. And I've been to Dookie Chase, the restaurant.
I've been to Dookie Chase too. Yeah,
a handful of times. So yeah, I will stand. I ate it. It was good. It's not something I would be like, I'm serving this. It's just I wanted to try it. But I feel
yeah. And so it's not something that you introduce to Thanksgiving as a main. No,
Thanksgiving is not the time to try new things.
It is not. You have to stay in your lane, figure out what's good. Now, to the point, but before we move off of Thanksgiving completely, I will say this: I didn't do breadcrumbs on a mac and cheese, but one of the best received mac and cheeses I did, there was Cheez-Its used to do a 4-cheese Cheez-It, and I crumbed the 4-cheese Cheez-Its and made a topping out of those on top of I did the Oprah's mac and cheese that year, and so it had 7 cheeses in it, and I put the crumbs on it. So the crumbs were just on top of the top layer of cheese. So it did provide a little bit of extra crustiness, and it was very well received. But I do understand it's not a pure traditional mac and cheese, and so I'm not obligating anybody. I was just saying for my mac and cheese, it had worked in it. So that's all. Listen, it's been years. I haven't made mac and cheese in a while. So
so the way I'm gonna tell the story, because I always lie on people and be like, y'all, Tom put hot Cheetos and Takis on top of his macaroni.
No, I did not. I did not put hot Cheetos and Takis. I did not, but I did do the 4 cheeses. Thank you, Paul Stadden. I appreciate it. We are going to be talking about that a little bit later. I do have the video to play in the show.
Do your double duty, Uncle.
Thank you. I mean, listen. So at any rate, the point is that I didn't even call it Thanksgiving. I called it Happy Not Celebrating Colonial Oppression Day, or Happy Eat with Family Day. But
Turkey Day or whatever. And
whatever.
I'm very fond of reposting an old clip from Drunk History on my page every year. When they talk about the indigenous Americans taking over Alcatraz, and it happened around Thanksgiving time. And of course, the government came in and was like, "Y'all can't do this," and they're like, "We totally can." And like, "Well, we're gonna sell it to somebody who's not gonna use it for anything." It's an interesting story, and I love the way they tell it with Drunk History people.
Oh yeah, Drunk History is the best.
But like let's get into it, because
let's get into it.
We got stuff to talk about.
And among the things that are probably the most important thing we can talk about, because it's been all over my feed today, it has been perhaps in an administration redolent with a plethora of scandals. This newest thing with the double tap on the Venezuelan not drug boats is looking like it has some real teeth. You have senators on the GOP side of the aisle who are straight up like, hell to the no, this ain't it. And Pete Hegseth is sitting there stammering and jabbering, and they're trying to throw this admiral under the ship to try to get him to take the fall for this illegal war crime, which is either a war crime or it's murder, just flat out murder, because it's just flat out murder. Because
war crimes, if I'm not mistaken, happen during some kind of conflict, and we are not
during a war
in a conflict with Venezuela. They've just been talking. We've been talking shit a lot,
right?
But this is premeditated murder,
right?
Because I mean, to bomb the boat and then to go back and bomb the people floating on the wreckage.
And listen, it is so scandalous that the story has changed like 4 times already. Because first it was, well, no, it didn't happen. Then it was, well, yes, it did happen, but we didn't know. Then it was, it did happen, but Hegseth didn't directly order it. It was the admiral. And now with the new press secretary for the Pentagon, she came out and said just today, not only did it happen, but it was approved by Trump and Hegseth, because they were well within their rights to do it. And it's like Caroline and McKinley, or whatever the little girl's name is. Just because you say those words doesn't mean it's true.
Right. These are the same girls.
To say it's true.
These are the same. This is the same type of, I'm going to say chick in the most disrespectful way. I mean it. These are the same type of chicks that will start a fight or with a guy in a bar and then try to get their boyfriend to beat him up. My boyfriend's going to kick your ass. Yeah. Did you check your boyfriend? Because he's over here looking like 150 pounds soaking wet. He ain't about to do nothing. And you're very, very wrong and very loud about how wrong you are, because you don't know. And you're out here, blustering, and dude behind you is like, oh, Lord Jesus. And so that's what I feel right now. They're like, yeah. And they did it because they had a right to do it, and they actually don't. And you've said on national television that they should go to jail. You didn't phrase it that way, but that's what you said.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And here's the thing that they're also not bearing into mind. It was a Black 4-star admiral, or whatever admiral, I guess, who was over that part of the world.
And he was like, I refuse.
And he was told to do not this particular strike, but he was told, look, we're going to do this. And he was like, yeah, but no, I'm not going to do this.
Right.
And Hegseth said, well, you know, you're going to be fired. And he resigned on the day the strike happened. And he's about to retire. He hasn't totally retired. He's resigned, but he hasn't actually left the service. And they're asking for him to be subpoenaed to testify. And when you talk about a brother who has the receipts,
yes,
Admiral Halsey is that dude. And guess
right.
what? I'm retired. I am not going to be a person you can
right. Page 1 of all my stuff. Right.
All my receipts. And so it's going to get real sticky and messy. And I'm loving it because as Hegseth is playing Secretary of War Crimes, Barbie, or Ken, I guess you could say, Trump is in serious decline.
Right.
Trump is sitting next to him. Well, Pete says it didn't happen, and I believe Pete. And it's like, yeah, but it did happen. And now what happened in the last couple of hours was
Bradley.
Well, the video. Some congresspersons have seen the video because what they were saying is that every time one of these strikes happens, there has to be video because they're laser painting the target. And so in order to laser paint the target, you have to have a record, digital record, blah, blah, blah. And so they knew the footage existed. But Hegseth was like, well, I didn't hang around. You know, we did that one strike and then stuff's on fire. And so I moved on to my next meeting. Bro, what next meeting? You know you live for this. This is the only thing you have to do. This is your thing because you get to say lethality and kinetic strike and da-da-da-da-da. You didn't have another meeting. But once it got hot and you realized that some people were like, yeah, but no.
Right.
Now you're all scared. And so now you have to try to pretend that you weren't really doing.
I want to touch on this comment that Chan put up. You know, things like this are why Trump never scared me. It's the next guy he's laying the blueprint for that won't make so many unnecessary, unforced errors. And he's absolutely right about that. We're already seeing Vance try to couch himself as the next
I see what you did.
as the next obvious candidate, and it's working, you know.
But is it though? Because here's my thing. To Chan's point, and I posted about this on my page. The reason that he has been able to hire all of these utterly incompetent people is that they were counting on his personality and charisma to bless whatever happened. And so they didn't really have to think. All they needed to do was do what Trump said. So this is why Kristi Noem is sitting on television talking about, and Mr. President, we didn't even have any hurricanes this year. Ma'am, what? How is that Trump? And then you have MAGA people who are like, well, they said they fired all those people. And so we were going to have the worst hurricane. They didn't say we had more hurricanes because NOAA was fired.
They said you wouldn't know about them.
We said you wouldn't know. And because you wouldn't know, you wouldn't be able to prepare like those girls that died at camp.
Right.
That's what they said. They didn't say that the people at NOAA were not controlling or not controlling hurricanes. They aren't Madame Morrible. They're just people who are watching the stuff. Right. And so that's what it came down to. So because you have somebody who doesn't know what to do because all they're doing is doing whatever dear leader says, they don't have any responsibility for their actions.
Now, and here's where I think we differ, because I fear that they will enshrine Trump upon his death, which looks imminent based on his health records. I fear that they will say everything after this, regardless of who takes up the mantle or whatever, is in the name of Trump. You know what I'm saying? This is what Trump wanted, blah, blah, blah. Trump would be so proud of us to XYZ. And they can ride that out long enough to really lock us down into a complete dictator or fascist regime. And then it doesn't matter who's in charge because they're in charge and they've taken away all your rights.
So I will say, if J.D. Vance were not the person, I might be more susceptible to that line of reasoning. But J.D. Vance is the least auraed politician, I think, in my lifetime. He has negative aura. He's like the dark sword in Star Wars. He literally like leeches aura from other people. And so
he's an aura vacuum.
What's not going to happen is he succeeds into the White House after something happens. It could be the 25th Amendment. It could be something else. He doesn't have nobody in the Senate or the House of Representatives is trying to ride JD Vance's coattails.
No.
Not even his wife, which I don't even know
if
we've had a chance to talk because we were 2 weeks off. The Usha Vance not wearing a wedding ring thing. Now it's twice.
Yes.
Not just once. It's twice.
Usha is over it.
Usha is completely over it. Here's a hint. Don't throw your wife's faith under the bus at a public rally when she's sitting there and she's smiling and you say, do I want her to turn to Jesus? And her face says,
her whole demeanor was, no, this motherfucker didn't. We talked about this because I'm sure, she's not stupid. She's not a stupid. She's actually a very intelligent woman. Her choices are her choices, and however she thought that she could make her life the life she wanted, I'm not going to hate on her for that. Howsoever, she is now having to reckon with what a lot of people of color who like to align themselves with white supremacy discover is that you ain't never gonna be white. And if someone white comes along that has your attributes, you will be replaced. And here we are.
So Hegseth as a proxy for Trump. Now, at least Hegseth is dumber than a box of rocks, but he does look the part. He does look like if he never opened his mouth and you saw a poster of him with that brill cream hair in a blue suit and it said Hegseth for president, you would believe the poster.
Yeah.
But he has a mouth. And
right.
So,
and the minute he opens it, you're like, what, bruh? What?
And here's the thing. It's not just liberals. If you are a military person and you throw a decorated career officer of multiple decades under the bus for your FUBAR, you're going to lose the rank and file too.
Yeah.
The rank and file who you made shave their beards.
Yeah.
You're not making any friends right now, Heggie. And it could be a Niedermeyer situation. Don't get it confused. So, and here's the other thing about him deciding he didn't want to deal with rules of engagement and anything else. You might get a pardon in the United States.
But the Hague is looking for you.
All of the places you want to go on vacation with the 4 or 5 families you have, all of them are NATO.
Yeah.
You can't step foot out of this country and not get arrested.
Right.
So stew in your juices, I guess, but
I mean, yeah.
OSHA.
Oh, yeah. I saw that a second ago. One of the things that I think is important to discuss at this moment is how much the Democratic Party, hang with me because I'm going to say some outrageous shit. The Democratic Party needs a robust white male savior right now.
Oh, that ain't crazy. I've been on that.
Yeah. Like, if you recall, without even really knowing a whole lot about what's your governor's name?
Yeah, Newsom.
Without even knowing a lot about him, when the moment Biden faltered, and it was just a stutter because he was tired, but the moment he faltered in that debate, I was like, God, this is about to be a problem. What about Newsom? That was my first thought, not Kamala. And I ride for Kamala. However, I know this country inside and out better than it knows itself. And although there is a discussion to be had around hacking of machines, et cetera, it's very possible that people did come to their senses and realize, hey, maybe we should probably not do a pedophile, a rapist for a president. But I think that there was still enough of a gray area of people where they just couldn't bring themselves to vote for a woman. And I put woman first.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Trump can only beat a woman. Any man they throw up against him could have soundly trounced him. And I believe, but now that he won't be able to run again, they need somebody that people rally around. And for whatever nonsense that Newsom's social media folks be doing to be trolling Trump is working, and it's working with the same people that we lost in the last election. So I'm going to put at least 7 of my 12 eggs in his basket.
Listen, I was not a Gavin for president guy until he started the social media trolling. Because
we should start by a Latina woman, right?
Right. But Trump has changed the calculus. You can do whatever now, apparently.
Right. And my point is a point. Like, I'm now that I know more about Newsom, if I had a lot of other choices, I'd be like, nah, but I don't. This is where we are.
No,
you know?
Listen, I don't know who it would be, but Reagan also came from California. And there is a reason. Because like Gavin is all too happy to say, we're the 4th largest economy in the world by ourselves. And it's got the right sort of politics. And Gavin is a charismatic leader. He's not Governor Moonby. He's a pragmatist. And pragmatism feels safe when you have a lunatic in the White House.
Yes.
And listen,
we need a voice of reason.
You got Zoran Mamdani in New York. So progressives have a person to glom onto and attractive, and AOC and Mamdani and blah, blah, blah. You've got that whole young, vibey sort of thing. You've even the young lady who, Afton, who didn't quite get over the finish line in Tennessee. She's super progressive. And if we had perhaps a more traditional candidate that wasn't Tennessee AOC, which is how they tagged her, and that's actually a pretty good nickname. That's exactly the right person, because Pelosi's gone. Pelosi you can't do anymore. But AOC represents what all of these MAGA people are scared of. And so that was, but she still increased her the Democratic vote by 14 points. Erasing a plus 22 GOP district to just +9. So there's a lot that is happening, and that has to scare these congresspersons. Any person who was a +8 is sweating now.
Right.
And so I don't mind if Newsom becomes the standard bearer. Eric Swalwell also looks the part, but he doesn't have the profile, and he's running for governor of California. So if Swalwell becomes a governor, then you have an executive. It's not Tim Walz. It could be Shapiro, but Shapiro's not going to get the progressives because of his position on Israel. So Gavin is telegenic. He's whip smart. He knows how to play the social game, and he towers over JD Vance. There's no comparison.
There is that.
JD Vance is going to be that guy.
Our lizard brains still like to see bigger as better.
As better.
Tall, strong, broad shoulders, all that stuff. It gives the aura of smart, strong, protective, all those things. Yeah.
Mike, listen, Mike, we appreciate you. I don't disagree. I just happen to think that there's nobody on the GOP side, and Rubio is taking himself off the board with his Secretary of State shenanigans.
Because I was team Buttigieg for a while, and I still, honestly, I wouldn't be mad at a Newsom Buttigieg ticket, right? That's not going to happen.
It won't. And listen, I think Buttigieg is possibly the smartest and most gifted overall politician of his generation. But if like Michelle Obama says, you're not ready for a woman, I don't think you're ready for a gay man. I just don't. And I don't think you go from Trump
to a gay man.
Buttigieg. Any gay man, but Buttigieg. If there were a gay man to win the presidency, I would put it on Buttigieg. It might take 8 years, but in 8 years, Buttigieg will still be young and good looking, and so he could probably still pull it. I just don't think the country is ready. Now, prove me wrong. I didn't think the country was ready for Barack Hussein Obama. I didn't think the first Black president would have a name like that. I was proven wrong. But and your one chance, maybe your one chance, especially if JD Vance was the candidate. Buttigieg versus Vance, you might be able to do. Because you got Mascara Vance, who did cross-dressing in college, versus manly Buttigieg. So maybe if it comes to that. Also, Trump will have almost wrecked the country, and it was Bush almost wrecking the country, or actually wrecking the country.
So, they've got to hit that valley to come back up. But I do think currently my current, like I said, 7 of my 12 eggs are in Newsom's basket, just because I need someone to stabilize the country, and it needs to be someone that can win in a landslide, and it can't be close.
You know, it's going to have to be major, and Vance is not the guy. I don't think Vance, as the incumbent, I don't think Vance wouldn't be challenged. And you just have to look at the people who have come through in the past. You don't have, you know, Rubio, because he's a Latino, could have been the guy. But as Secretary of State, he's Neville Chamberlain. And so it's a wash.
Everybody associated with Trump is going to deflate when he's gone. Nobody is going to be improved by being on his team. And I she's got a point. I don't know that he'll ever find himself, because, you know, there's people wanting, there's an appetite for it, and then there's his own desire, and so we just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's run, so, you know, it's not out of the question. But it'll take, I think, almost more than it took. Yeah, because Barack was half white, and so that didn't hurt, and Barack was also a very gifted orator. And a very charismatic person. For the faults that he had during his administration, some of the choices he made during his administration, he was a very capable leader, and he still has a reputation that is loved. Well, yeah, no, absolutely. So, listen, I said what I said.
Especially the way that the GOP has demonized trans people, and by association, the entire LGBTQ community. There are people that, you know, propaganda is real and will not vote for a gay man just because of their own confused or bigoted or ignorant, immature thoughts about trans people, even though one has nothing to do with the other.
Well, and to be fair, this isn't obviously at national level politics, but there are more openly gay politicians elected at the state level than there ever have been. So things, even in Texas, we
had a gay mayor before we had a black mayor. Yeah.
So, you know, it's not impossible. It's within our lifetimes, but I just wouldn't say in this upcoming electoral cycle. I don't know, but no, they won't come out for Vance. You're absolutely right about that. Vance is. We
got to mobilize the vote again, and I think that's what's also a struggle, because people have seen their efforts go for naught. You know, it was very demoralizing to watch the election results in 2024. And then the thought, even with me, and I'm always out here, you know, fighting a good fight, knocking on doors. Even with me, I was like, don't ask me for nothing. I'm not doing nothing, you know, which I'm glad the elections only happened 4 years, because hopefully by, you know, 2027, I'll be in the mood to help again, you know, and start registering voters. And
you were prescient. You were prescient on our election night broadcast, because you were like, yeah, she fixing to lose. I need to get off this show.
Yeah.
And it was proven. And, you know, I think we are basically at almost a George Bush level crisis without the global economic melting. He has done so much. This ballroom, if they don't fix the healthcare thing, if they don't get these ACA subsidies back, it is a wrap.
It is a wrap.
It is a wrap. The Democrats
it is really going to be having to choose between healthcare and dinner.
It is. And that's insanity. And so George Bush had not as much of a Democratic advantage, a Democratic disadvantage when he lost. Yeah. And they won 43 seats. So them seats are coming, and Mike Johnson is running scared, because Nancy Mace is threatening to retire. If Nancy retires, Marjorie Taylor's about to be gone come January, right after she funds her, or she vests her pension for the rest of her life as a congressperson. sorry, by the way, George Santos, we know that you thought you were going to get that, but you had to be in 5 years and you didn't quite make it. So Nancy Mace, and there are other people. There are senators talking about, who've already said, I'm not running again. I'm done. And there are other people who are going to serve out their term, but they're not going to be campaigning, which means when the campaign season kicks off in 2026, now you've got to have a primary for those seats. And it's not a favorable environment. So there's a lot that's going on in the spaces.
It's all over.
It's all over the place. Speaking of things that are all over the place, it is really looking like Trump is facing some now noticeable physical and mental declines. And it's all about this MRI kerfuffle. So shout out to Joy, who has a delightful pun in this headline. Trump's MRI.
Think the fuck not.
And so basically what we had is going all the way back to the Air Force One thing. And it's been a month basically since this happened. But he said, yeah, I had an MRI. Now, almost immediately, of course, the press pounced.
Right.
And they said, so when are we going to get this? And, Carolyn got up there and lied.
Noticeable about people that can no longer
ignore it. To the press, Cecily.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. She said, yeah, we're gonna get that to you. A month later, still nothing. Until finally, on Air Force One again, he was talking to News Nation. Failed News Nation, you all are horrible. And no, we're not. So we're gonna get the MRI. What part of the body was the MRI on? I don't know. It was an MRI. It was a perfect MRI. So, I'm older. Can I have an MRI? People get an MRI. And it's not just the stench of corruption, it's the literal stench of his ass. But he said, do you want me to release the results? And they're like, yes, please. He's like, yeah, it's fine with me. And so by the time the plane had landed, Carolyn had to go into overdrive. It's like, oh, what in the entire F am I going to do or say about this? And so it took him a couple of days, and they got this not MRI report, the advanced imaging. And it was his abdomen and his chest area. And what has happened in the last 48 hours is doctors are talking about, yeah, but no. First of all, MRIs are not diagnostic tools or preventative tools. MRIs are, you had one MRI, that's because we wanted to check. You had two MRIs, we're looking for progression or regression. 3 MRIs, we're really trying to figure out how much time you got.
Yeah.
And so there's one of my favorite content creators. I think you've probably seen him too, Joy, is this doctor who is a person who specializes, is board certified 14 years, who specializes in dementia patients like our president. That's what he said.
Yes, I have seen his post.
Into it. He's like, his brain is melting, amyloid plaque, blah, blah, blah. And I think he's got 3 to 5 months on this earth. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's
right. And that was a month ago.
Oh yeah, no, he's the best. It used to be 4 to 6, and then he scooched it back to 3 to 5. So basically, his brain is not doing so well, and it's coming to the point where people are arranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, because it's like, oh my gosh, we were talking. If he says Sleepy Joe one more time,
they don't even bother to wake him up on live television.
That's what I'm saying.
Broadcast. Just let him sit there. Yeah.
And you talk about Sleepy Joe. Every time you say Sleepy Joe and you start snoring, how do you think that's going to work? That's not going to work. And that's just one of the problems. You've got so many different things. There is no good news. It's like in The Wiz, don't nobody bring me no bad news. Well, it's all bad news, my boy.
Yeah.
How can you tell me mashed potatoes turkey pudding? Wow. I saw a scan of the difference between a healthy brain and a brain in the grips of Alzheimer's. And the amyloid plaques actually take up so much space in the folds that instead of it being all juicy and fat and whatever, it looks like an ant farm. in the brain. And I'm not saying he has Alzheimer's, but he is clearly in such extreme cognitive decline. Look, man, nobody asks you to take a mocha every month.
A what?
The mocha, the cognitive, the Montreal.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sitting there like coffee. Okay, sorry.
You think that's a test to show how sharp you are.
Right. That's the microphone, TV, child, color. Yeah, that
person,
thing.
woman, man, camera, TV. And we've shown it. We've shown the mocha test on our own show. It's not something, and he keeps talking about 30 questions. It ain't even 30 questions. What are you doing? Once you get to the questions 11 through 15, bro, they're all single syllable words, sentences, counting back from 100 by 7. It's
giving me dystopian futures. I do remember the movie Dave.
I love that
where they basically got a stand-in.
Yes.
Except this time it's going to be AI. And I think somebody else said that earlier. It's going to be like sloppy AI to cover for him. And I don't doubt it.
That's only that he set his own trap with the auto pen. He was talking so much trash about the auto pen. If he is not around, then it's not even. If you don't install JD Vance when he actually becomes incapacitated and you try to pretend, first of all, AI can only go so far. AI cannot do public appearances.
No.
So you can do AI of him walking off of Marine One or walking off of Air Force One, but other world leaders will have to interact with him.
And they are going to tell on him because don't nobody like him.
Don't nobody like him. And so they
you still like me and don't nobody like you. That's what's going to happen.
Listen.
It's too old to clone. Yeah, you won't get all the folds right. You won't get the neck pussy right. You know?
Oh. So audience, there is a cover of a magazine. No, it's not even a cover of a magazine. You can try to Google it. One of my favorite content producers actually shared it on his profile. And the caption is, "How MAGA Babies Are Born." And it is a newborn baby sliding out of his neck tussie.
It's nasty. It's so nasty.
But it is so, it's like, you know, in Aliens, when the queen is laying the eggs in the
gross.
The granny walks in and she torches them. The baby sliding out of that neck tussie is not nice.
This is gross. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. We're going to move on from that to something that I was very pleased to foist onto the world while we're talking about things that are being birthed. So I am a person, ever since I was in school, people who knew me in school know this about me. I am a song satirist. I did one of my very first and most popular songs was set to the tune of Been Around the World by
Lisa Stansfield.
Lisa Stansfield. But it was, instead of I Can't Find My Baby, it was Been Around the World and I Can't Find My Hat Home. And so from there, I just started doing other little satirical songs. And so back in the day, I used to like singing Baby It's Cold Outside until it turned into a thing where, you know,
the lyrics are problematic. You know, there's some coercion there. So,
yes. And so instead, when the opportunity came to flip it, and the opportunity came to flip it with an Epstein undercurrent, all of a sudden it was something where it made sense to kind of lean into the controversy, but also poke him in the eye. So
don't say anything else about it. Just show them so they can see.
I'm not going to say anything else. And I'm going to take us out of the feed because we have these two new vertical things and I don't know what it's going to do if I don't. So I'm going to take us out and I'm going to play the video. Here we go.
The bill has been signed. Where are the Epstein files? His job's on the line. Because of the Epstein files, they shut Congress down to placate the Cheeto clown. Keep them dead. Ghislaine is chilling at Club Fed. The emails were quite salacious. That Bubba thing was outrageous. The birthday sketch was over the line. Enigma's never age, don't you find? Mindy is in her lawyers are awfully dizzy. And SCOTUS seems to be in a bind. Don't they say that justice is blind? He's guilty as sin. All over the Epstein files. His alibi's thin. Release the Epstein files. The speaker is shook that he'll be on the hook. Take the fall. That House majority is small. Pundits on the right are nervous. They do us all such a disservice. And Caroline is pacing the floor. While Marjorie has walked out the door. MAGA's in fifth. Because of Trump's holdout. Release the Epstein files.
Bravo.
So I want to give thanks to everybody who has been appreciating it. It's on all platforms. It's on Facebook and IG and YouTube and TikTok. And so, Cecily, I will drop the YouTube link in the chat. Actually, I'll drop the IG link in the chat, and that way people will be able to enjoy it and do what it do.
I've shared it, I think, on Instagram and Threads as well. So CJ, if you follow me out there, you can catch it. And I think on TikTok too. Yeah, we'll share it again on our Facebook page. And can we share it as a short on YouTube?
It is as a short on YouTube. It's not on my current YouTube, but it is.
It's illegal for you to be this stupid.
it's a short. So how do I do this?
When he first sent that to me, I was like, bruh, what have you done? This is outrageous. Do it again.
Let's see if this works. Okay, that is the link. It's not clickable, but that is the link. So you can go there, copy and paste it off of whatever thing you're on YouTube, Cecily. So you can just copy it and paste it, and then you can watch it, and then you can share it. And please do. I'm happy if you know anybody who can help amplify it. Please, I will accept any amplification. I'm not worried about it.
Cecily is on it. Yes.
So it did click? Did it click for you? That's great. Okay.
Yeah, it won't click for us because of, I think.
Oh, because we're in the thing. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Comedy gold. I say thank you, Rattler. And just because now I'm kind of in the mode, I do have another one coming. It's not a holiday one. It's more. Anyway, it's coming, and so it'll definitely be ready by next week. I'm trying to give this one some room to breathe, so that it can go viral. So whatever you want to do, spread it all across your networks. We're all too happy to have it elevated and escalated. So I'm glad you enjoyed. Thank you so much. This is my offering to you on holiday. So you want to put it on your little phone. My coworker is singing it at me every day. So,
is that the jacket behind you?
It is. The jacket is behind me, actually.
Yeah, nice.
So we're into the Epstein file. So let's just whoopsie. There we go. I'm kind of moving up the thing. So more is coming. We love that you are enjoying the show. There are just a couple of things that we wanted to talk about, not the least of which is something that should be an area of concern to almost anybody, certainly anybody who has to have who's paying bills.
Yeah, you got a point. If 50 had the Epstein files, they'd have been out by now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
And that documentary, I haven't watched it, but it's trending #1 right now.
Ooh, baby. And I love how petty 50 is.
50 Cent is so petty.
He is
like he's a master class in petty.
Petty. And I mean, I can't be mad at the man.
No.
Because
he's only putting out footage.
Yeah.
It's not like he made something up. He got receipts in the form of film.
And there it is. So, but now speaking of people who aren't making any money right now, there are a whole lot of people who are on the wrong side of the unemployment situation in this country of ours. And you can look at the maps here and see these are the job cuts. And it says U.S. job cuts in 2025 reached 1.1 million as of October. We're already in December. And that is already much higher than 2024's yearly total of 761,000. So you can look at the colors on this map and see who has the greatest and the fewest. So there are places like North Dakota that barely have any people. Wyoming barely have any people. So they haven't lost that many jobs. But you look at Texas. Texas at 46,000 jobs. California has 156, but as it says in the footnote, Intel, Paramount, and Salesforce have cut thousands of workers in 2025. And DC, 303,000 people are out of work. I wonder why.
Well, Georgia, the state I'm in right now, all the dark red spots are bad. That's like all you need to know.
And so there are some liberal places, progressive states. Washington has suffered. New York has suffered. But when you look, Florida ain't doing too well. Georgia is a hotbed.
Here's the thing to know about this image right there. Put it back up real quick.
Okay.
Everything is bad.
Yeah.
Right. Like the places where the color is a little more pinkish or like off-white versus dark red, it just means don't nobody live there. We've always known that the highest population density is on the coast and across the South, like, up through like, say, Michigan, which is when you start seeing to be a slightly lighter red, but they're looking at total numbers and not at percentages. And I think that's another thing that needs to be taken into account. What percent of the population is it across? And I think you'll still see Texas and California be red, but some of these other ones that are looking a little pink might go all the way red. You can take it down all the way red now. If we realize how 300,000 sounds like not a lot, but if the population of the state is 4 million, that's a significant number.
And listen, you know what it's not a sign of? This golden age of the American economy that we've been promised. You've got layoffs and unemployment is spiking. They tried to spin a tale about how Black Friday revenue or Black Friday expenditures were up, but they were all on fewer items.
I was on Threads during Black Friday because I was sitting with my friend Erica's mom watching NCIS reruns on a marathon, and I just happened to be checking, and people that were in the stores, not the scabs. So that's what I'm calling Black folks who went to Target, and we're gonna talk about that Target swag bag nonsense in a second. But people who was just like, I work at this store, or I'm doing retail, or I picked up a job, etc., were like showing video like there's nobody in here.
Right.
There's nobody. Like these lines look like an average Tuesday. This is not a Black Friday line. Because we've seen that. Now, granted, traffic to the mall is different, but even online, Amazon is like, you ain't got to come in because we don't have no extra boxes, right?
Right.
We're not seeing this massive purchase. And to your point, there's, again, numbers don't lie, but statistics do, right? Yeah. And so this idea of more money was spent this year than ever before, that's because inflation is ridiculous. And a lot of that money was spent on groceries, right?
Well, there's that.
So, if you're just looking at total spend across these days, you're not getting the whole picture. Like a pair of jeans, for example, that I might have bought. I didn't buy anything, but them jeans was $45 last year, and now they're $65. And so I didn't buy 2 pair, I bought 1. And the scams that store, like Walmart got busted with this of something being $99, and then they jack up the price to $129, and they sell it again for $99 like you got a deal. And they pulled the thing back, and it was $99 less.
$99 3 weeks ago. I was a part of the blackout and buy black. So blackout, in case you weren't familiar, and it's something you can still do, by the way. It kind of leveraged the whole Target thing. And for the people who said, because there are plenty of people who said, this boycott, blah, blah, blah. Target is crushed right now. Don't be
Target
confused. Target has taken big L's, and you can say it's about economic conditions, but everything. But the Target boycott has worked, and it has been sustained. And so part of
let me tell you how you know it's worked. And I'm going to give you like a metaphor or analogy, however you want to put it, of like a conversation. You break up with your man, and then you go outside and you just sitting chilling at the bar, and your ex-boyfriend come dancing by you a couple of times. And then like, you get a drink, and they're like from the man at the end of the table, and it's your ex sitting over there trying to romance you back. You get a "you up, what you doing" text, "hey big head," all of that stuff. And now compare this to what you've seen with Target. At first they're like, "I don't need you, you're gonna go on, girl." Blah, blah, blah. And now I go to Target only because of CVS, where my medicine is inside the Target. So I walk past all of this stuff, and I've seen it. They got black on black on black models and all of their advertising, all of their stuff, trying to say, "Look, we're sorry. Hey big head, hey girl, how you doing?" And it ain't working. The worst thing that Target ever did was help us realize we never needed them in the first place. It is not a place of necessity. Nothing that Target has, aside from their Good and Gather brands, if you're really into that, but nothing that Target has is unique. And then people discovered, matter of fact, more and more people are going to farmers markets and butchers again, like we did in the 20s and 30s, to get stuff, as opposed to retail grocery stores. They're closing a Publix. You know how bad it's got to be to close a Publix in Atlantic Station? Atlantic Station is like the bougie area in the middle of the city, and they're like, "Yeah, this Publix ain't gonna make it."
I didn't do any in-person retail shopping, but on Black Friday, the only people I bought from were Black companies. So I bought something from Actively Black. Actively Black had a Black Friday sale, and I
got in on that.
Yep. And I supported my chapter brother Jerry Lorenzo with Fear of God, because let
me tell you about Actively Black, because I love me some Actively Black. But when they first launched that Wakanda collection a long time ago, I was all in on it. But I was at the time, I was like, "You want how much?" But I can't know if I can pay that. And so now they got this Black Friday sale, and it's Actively Black, so it don't count towards the boycott, because it's a Black-owned business. No. I got me some hair I got 4 jars of conditioner from Kinky Tresses. I got all my skincare from Rihanna, from Fenty Skin, and then I got this. Now about this thing I bought. They had the Wakanda stuff, but it was on clearance.
Yes.
So the sizes were what the sizes were.
Yeah.
So I was able to get the top of my little crop top Wakanda Forever shop, but the bottoms, they only had a large. I bought it. It's aspirational. Heavy on the ass, because I wasn't
gonna say it. I didn't want to be out of pocket, but that immediately popped into my head.
But I've been losing weight. I can pull them up, but I would not sit down in them. Not just yet, but we're gonna make it.
I got two pairs of shorts, because it was like I didn't understand how the sale was working. I got the Wakanda University like hoodie thing, and then I got the shorts, but it gave me an extra pair of shorts, and I'm like, okay, because it's free. I couldn't take it out of the thing.
Right.
And so I got that, and then now they just dropped a Chairman Fred Hampton thing in coordination with the Hampton family.
Oh, wow.
So now they're trying to tempt me to go back in. And so between Blackout and Buy Black, I felt that I did my thing. I was intentional. I did not support, I definitely stayed away from it was Target and Amazon, and it was probably Walmart, but Target and Amazon and whatever. I definitely didn't. Well, I didn't buy anything that wasn't Black on Black Friday, and I didn't buy anything on between Black Friday and Cyber Monday that wasn't Black. So I did what I was supposed to do. I hope you all did what you were supposed to do, because that's a big part of making our economic strength known.
Very good.
There you go. See, it's fine to do anything you want to do supporting a Black-owned vendor.
Right. We're not supporting the big box haters. Yes.
Correct. So don't feel like, oh, I did this on. No, you're supposed to buy Black on Black Friday. So that's perfectly fine. Kudos to you, because that was the assignment. So
a quick note for my young people out there. Black Friday actually doesn't have anything to do with being Black. It is
No.
about the term from a finance standpoint. You're either in the red, meaning you are operating at a deficit, or you're in the black, meaning that you are not, that you are solvent. And so a lot of companies, in order to, catch up on maybe some surplus, whatever, and get back in the black, used to sell things on sale between Thanksgiving and Christmas, hence the phrase Black Friday. It ain't got nothing to do with you. And please stop perpetrating them nonsense lies, because y'all don't do your homework. Okay. So all you had to do is ask AI. It would have told you where Black Friday came from. But no, y'all want to just be out all across Instagram talking about they appropriating blah, blah. I saw some nonsense and I was like, stop it.
Well, and if you are a white female influencer who thought you were being cute by saying it's Black Friday because Black people are the people who need the
that too,
the sales,
you can
enjoy your cancellation, girl, because
that's another thing that I think we should take into 2026 is bring back cancel culture. Cancel everybody.
Yep.
I was really hurt because I really was enjoying. And you know what? I kind of felt like he was on the internet too much, because every time I opened threads, he was right there. BD Wong. I've been a BD Wong fan for a while. I've loved all of his characters. I thought he was transcendent, no pun intended, in Mr. Robot. However, he made a stupid joke. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's going to hurt you, bruh. And it did. And I unfollowed, because I can't be the person I am and advocate for what I advocate and try to hold on to somebody just because I like them or like what they've done. So we had to unfollow, and he made a whole mess of it. But I also was thinking to myself, see, this is what you get for being on the internet too much. You could let some stuff go. You could post once a day and we still would have been riding with you. But now you had to show. And then the whole discussion, I've got several friends online throughout different aspects of Asian population, because I don't want to say Asian culture, because that's like saying African culture, and there's all kinds of countries there. But one of my friends has been engaged in a discussion around colorism and adjacency to white supremacy and a lot of other things that are coming up for, I would say, the millennial generation of different Asian populations. And that conversation has been interesting too. Because I'm loving the people that are coming out and saying, you know what, we should have followed Black people when they tried to tell us this. We weren't listening, and now here we are. And then others that are still like Candace Owens, clinging to their adjacency, and it's never going to do for them what they wanted to do. But it's been an interesting conversation.
I just need to say something to the BD Wong apologists who are saying, no, he was just following the rules of the meme. Here's why that is not true.
No.
Wrong answers only, right?
Mm-hmm.
Work best when there's one subject in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
If you have two subjects in the picture and one of them is a Black man, you're not making a joke about the bear when you say, I'm pretty sure that's a Black man.
Mm-hmm.
You're commenting
the caption said, name this animal, wrong answers only.
Right.
And then you say,
so,
Black man.
But when Black people have been dehumanized and referred to as all kinds of animals,
mm-hmm.
you're not making the joke you thought you were.
Exactly.
Because
it'd be equivalent to a Black figure making some asinine joke about Koreans eating dogs or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's racist. There's no way around it. It's racist. It buys into tropes. There's no place for it if you want to be an inclusive person. And my thing is, there had to have been a moment where he was like, should I? And the answer should have been no. If you have any hesitation in your gut, follow your gut.
Don't do it.
Your gut be trying to tell you, you had a hesitation before you hit sin, and you're like, nah, it'll be okay. And it's not.
You know, there's a movie called The Invention of Lying.
She said, swallow his foot up to his hips.
Up to his hips. So in The Invention of Lying, it's set in a world where nobody has ever lied, ever before. And so everybody takes what you say with complete candor, as though you are representing the truth. And one guy decides he's going to lie. And so he makes a lie, and then inevitably, it's just now it's so easy because, I don't have to tell the truth, and look, I can manipulate people, I can do all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so if BD Wong was the first person to make an error on the internet or a misjudgment about a bad decision, it would be one thing. Bruh.
You've seen people go down in flames. Not only have you seen people go down in flames, you've condemned other people for going down in flames before. How did you not know? That was my thing. How did you not know?
I feel like George Takei needs to dog out BD. George, if you're listening, please.
George Takei is that dude. I love him with my whole heart. He's another one when they talk about like people, non-Black people that Black people don't play about.
Right.
George Takei is one of them.
Absolutely.
Him and Dolly.
Now, Joy, you said there was something you said you wanted to get back onto.
Man.
It was a little bit ago, and I can't remember it because I don't have anything else for the show.
This one where it's like if Donald Trump had talked shit about 50 Cent, the Epstein Files would be on Spotify, because I did want to touch on the Diddy documentary.
Oh, you want to touch on it?
Ew.
And I only made that joke because there was something about him saying that he needed to wash himself after he hugged people, but he had to hug people in order to get off, or some stuff. And so
it's nasty.
It's nasty.
I don't even know what to say. I want to tell you that it's important to watch it to understand things from a different perspective, but also don't watch that. Like, yeah. watch it with like let me see if I can get the solution here. Watch it with like a fan or something where you can just be like, and then look up and look away again, because it is. But 50 brought receipts, and I think we mentioned this earlier, like all of it, nothing in there is speculation.
It's all literal footage.
Mm-hmm. Watch out. I heard it's oily.
What I will say, while we're on the topic of some skeevy, nasty stuff, one of the things that we didn't mention that I could have after the song about the Epstein Files is that among the things that have been released this week are photos from the FBI archives. And there is, it's nightmare fuel. It's just horrible. There's pictures. He's got a dentist chair in some room somewhere, and on the walls are these masks. And when I heard them say there were masks in the room, my first instinct post-COVID is, they're like medical masks.
Yeah.
No.
Gas
they are like these antique face masks, almost like funeral shroud sort of masks. So they're vaguely human, but they're painted and they're like chipped and worn, and it's all
that's nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, no, it's really, it's so creepy. And just the idea of some poor child like in that chair, and probably, it's just, this is horrible. And what is coming out, this is the last thing I have to talk about. What is coming out now is that in addition to the fact that they had 3,000 man hours and overtime of the FBI agents going through and redacting and examining, that what came out was that what is in the Epstein files is so much worse than anybody ever had imagined. And
we knew it had to be, because otherwise they wouldn't have fought so hard to keep it. Wouldn't have fought
so hard. And for them to say, well, if there was anything really bad, the Democrats, blah, blah, blah. First of all, as has been explained almost ad nauseum, Ghislaine Maxwell was appealing. You couldn't release those documents while she was appealing because she was number 2 in the whole thing. She was number 2. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't release anything about anybody while she was appealing because technically that could have prejudiced, blah, blah, blah. It was only during Trump's current administration that the last appeal was vacated. And so now the files can be released. It's horrible. It is absolutely horrible. And just from the emails alone, they talk about Bill Clinton was mentioned 100 times in emails. Trump was in half of the email threads. Half. Thousands upon thousands. He was in the threads. He was the topic. He was being talked about. He was being mentioned. There were emails, blah, 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 blah. He is the Epstein files. There is no Epstein files without Trump.
And that's why they're trying so hard to keep them under wraps. Because if it was just he had a young-ish girl on his lap, they'd let that out and been like, oh, she was I was helping her, give her a scholarship, something. Yeah, whatever. It was my child's friend, whatever nonsense. They could have played that off. It had to be egregious. It had to be hyper frequent, and it had to be so wrong that even the most hardened heart, the most apologetic MAGA person would still be like, oh my God, what did you do? It's bad. No, it's bad. Really bad. Then I want to talk a moment about when we talk about trauma and scarring. Okay. It's easy to say, oh, those girls are going to be scarred for life, but do you really understand what that means? I mean, I have a scar right here on my elbow. You can't really see it right there. But I got bit by a dog when I was 11 years old. I live with that. It doesn't hurt me though. Every now and then I think about it, but I can see it. I can see that scar all the time, but it is not painful. However, I remember like it was yesterday, the day this girl spit on me in the 7th grade. And I hate her right now. I have often wondered if she is somewhere feeling terrible, like not about what she did to me, but I wish her ill, right? The first gray hair I got was from being bullied in the 7th grade when they chewed Doritos and then spit in my hair while I was asleep on the bus. That's not the kind of thing you forget. It's not the kind of thing you forgive. And it was nothing. It was absolutely nothing compared to sexual assault, molestation, touching children, all of that, because I got spit on. I washed it out. I felt bad about it. I went on with my life. I got bit by a dog. Dog didn't know any better. I went on my life. You as a young girl are expecting the adults around you to protect you, and they are the very ones that violate you in the worst way possible. And then you have a choice to go on living or not. And a lot of people choose not to. And when we talk about being scarred for life, that's the level that we're talking about. It's not just, oh, I had something bad happen to me once and I had to learn to get over it. You never get over that. You never get over it. And it's I can't even begin to describe it. And the fact that they have thousands upon thousands of emails about all of this, and the cavalier attitude with which they treated these girls. You need to be glad that he took your virginity because he was rich. Like, this is insane. And then the apologists out here talking about, well, he's not a pedophile. He wasn't a phebophile. She's still a minor. She's still a child. She's still underage. She still was not able to give consent. And all of this is still true. And I'm disgusted. I'm absolutely disgusted.
Had Megyn Kelly said that foul nonsense before our last show?
I don't know.
So just to bring everybody back up to speed, Megyn Kelly's on a roll. So she made the comment, and the post I read that really struck a chord with me was, if you are trying to parse the difference between a pedophile and a hebephile and an ephebophile, you're probably a pedophile.
Yeah.
So it's like not something you should be that super familiar with. But she came out like yesterday with her latest bad take, which is, if you're bringing drugs over to this country and you get hit with the thing, I want you to feel pain. I want you to bleed out in the water. I want you to suffer. And I hope that Trump and Hegseth let them suffer. I just don't feel like it's possible to gin up that much sympathy for these people in the American people. And I'm thinking to myself, you have not brought back a dime bag of drugs out of that water. It's not a whole bunch of sharks swimming extra fast.
Right. There's no cocaine sharks out there.
It's no cocaine sharks. You have not done even the barest minimum. Not to mention the fact, these boats, I don't know how far you think it is from Venezuela to the United States. Them little boats that hold like 2 gallons of gas aren't making it
Right.
To the United States. And you talk about kingpins. Guess what kingpins are not in? They're not in the motorboats.
They're not in both at all. They're flying over here.
They could be flying.
They're landing on a private airship.
Whatever. The kingpins are in big things.
Yeah. Either that or they got their mules in those underground tunnels from one of those Fast and Furious, wasn't it? Where it was underground going back and forth between like Mexico and Texas or whatever. But anyway, they're not in both. Because
also fentanyl is the thing that's killing all the Americans. It's not cocaine.
Fentanyl is made here.
From ingredients in Mexico. Venezuela and Colombia, that's coke. Now, I'm not saying people don't die of coke, but fentanyl is the thing that's scaring everybody.
Right.
Fentanyl
not as many people die of coke anymore because the Rolling Stones, they are like all still alive. So
all of them. Well, no, Moon, the drummer, passed. But Keith Richards is still around.
Keith Richards is still around. He's 80% coke at this point. I'm kidding. No disrespect to Keith Richards.
Allegedly. If you want to ride.
Now, this is also another good point. The kingpins are buying Trump coin and getting pardons.
I mean, only the president of Honduras.
Right. Who is on record is bringing, it was the 400 tons?
400 tons. Billions of dollars in street value of coke. And his brother was like, let's put this up the Americans' noses. Come on, man. And you're sitting here bombing people on boats. You don't even know if they're actually narco-terrorists because you really want to take Venezuela's oil. Will you stop it, please? It never worked. He did this
during his first term when he talked about the Middle East. He's like, we needed to take the oil. We shouldn't have never left the oil there. He's always been about that.
Drill, baby, drill.
You forget the cartel families admitted earlier this year.
DJT Jr. is still alive. Come on, Cecily.
Right. Mr.
Yeah, okay, bro.
You know what? I did not know what that was until I watched Tropic Thunder and Jack Black's character.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had to look that up.
Bobby Brown thinks that DJT has a coke problem. Let that marinate.
Right.
So we are at an hour and 17 minutes. Joy, do you have anything else before we bid people adieu?
The only thing, and they'll probably, I mean, we may talk more about this later, but we're gonna keep an eye on healthcare watch, like to see if they actually end up doing something about these what's the word I'm looking for? Premiums. Because right now, as an individual person with no kids and like nothing major as far as like health issues, just being pre-diabetic, that thing was looking at $800 a month.
Listen, tell me you have never paid a healthcare premium if you think that a $2,000 check from the government will let you buy healthcare for the year. Right. There are no health savings accounts because one hospitalization visit that is not an emergency room visit. If you were hospitalized for a week, you just got a second mortgage. Yeah. Period. When I had my abdominal surgery in 2022, my out of pocket was $8,000, but the bill was $89,000. Oh, yeah. And that was just the surgery. That didn't count all the pre-stuff that went into that was completely covered. Yeah. It was to say, per a lobbyist with the Powers Law Firm, there are some Republicans that are afraid to go home because of the ACA cuts. And you know what they could do? They could just not do that. Correct. The thing is, like, it's in their power to fix this. They're just not doing it. Don't be afraid to go home. Be afraid not to do your job. And look at this, $2,000 barely covers 1 month of my projected. I know that's right. It's nothing. It's nothing. And so, and real people who do not have federal premium, super deluxe, delightful plans with their $179,000 a year salaries, because they don't have to pay for their health care, so they don't have to worry about it. They don't know, but every one of their constituents does.
Right.
Even if you have health insurance through your employer, if you want to add your family to the health insurance and your employer doesn't cover your family, you will see what your employer is paying for you, and it will make you breathe heavy.
Yep.
So, no, this is
Go ahead and get y'all some apple cider vinegar, some ginger ale, and crackers. Get it popping with some big staple rub, because that's where we are.
Some Tussin.
Some Tussin.
Some
from the dollar store.
Yes. Some ginger ale and some
Mercurochrome.
Yeah.
Iodine. And some needles and thread, because y'all about to be sewing.
A little hydrogen peroxide spray bottle and aspirin, I guess.
A lot of aspirin. Get some fruit. You need some vitamin C.
Start eating just raw vegetables.
Now is the time to go outside with no sunscreen on for a couple hours a day and get you some vitamin D.
Get you some vitamin D.
Yeah, and get some soup, but not Campbell's soup. Get you a whole chicken from the farmer's market and make you some chicken stock. Yep.
Listen, go to Costco, get you a $5 chicken.
Rotisserie, boil it.
Strip the chicken, and then boil that carcass and make you some bone stock in your Instant Pot.
It'll be delicious.
Delicious. And with that, I will say I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Elma Verrera.
And this is Steel Sharpens Steel, vertical and horizontal for the first time. Enjoy, everybody, and we will see you next week. Where are the Epstein Files?